It's early one morning in the heart of Africa.
Well, I don't know about going around the world in 80 days. We've been up here for 80 minutes, haven't seen hide nor hair of Africa's Big Five. Very keen today to see the buffalo. Wait a sec, what's that down there? The Metrex Trophy for the world's strongest man. Sun City here in South Africa as the venue for this annual heavyweight contest. A real battle of wills. When the mind says, yes, you can do it, can the body take the strain? Five heats. 6 strong men in each, 6 events. The top 2 will go to the final. And Hugo Girard of Canada and Rob Dixon of England are there already. Here are the 6 for Heat 2. Just about the most famous man in the Faroe Islands, Regin Vagadal. The biggest man in Iceland, Torfi Olafsson. The world's strongest man 2 years ago, Magnus Samuelsson of Sweden. Britain's strongest man for the past 2 years, Glenn Ross. Perhaps America's most pierced man, John Perry. And not so much on the lead, but will he be in the lead? The Great Dane, René Minkwitz. The 6 disciplines are the tire flip, the Africa stone, the car lift, the boulder holder, Fingal's fingers, and the Atlas stones. And we kick off down on the golf course. The first event, as ever, is a race. Everybody goes in this. 900 pounds of rubber to be moved down the course. And in a country of numerous dialects, we've been embracing some of the native tongues. So in Afrikaans, this is the Buitebunt Verschlung. In Swana, which is local to around here, it's La Toya Li Coloni. But to you and me, it's your actual tire flip.
And now, please welcome.
And our commentator is Paul Dickinson.
Group 1 of the tire flip.
Beautiful conditions for the competitors. Nearest the camera, big Glenn Ross, the heaviest man in this heat. Britain's strongest man twice, and it was this event at Alton Towers which won him his 2nd championship. Torfi Olafsson, a shade lighter than Glenn Ross, but only by a little bit. Both of them close to 400 pounds in body weight. Unbelievable.
In lane 2, Glenn Ross.
The
UK.
Big Daddy, Glenn Ross from County Down.
In lane 3, Johnny Perry.
Johnny
USA.
Perry Jr. from North Carolina in the United States. He's pretty big as well, 166 kilos. Magnus Samuelsson, the former champion, 2 meters tall.
Lane 5, Regin Vagadal.
The seafaring Regin Vagadal from the Faroe Islands, the most famous sportsman in his country.
Denmark.
Last year's finalist, René Minkwitz of Denmark, injured in the very first event in the final. This could be a good event for Glenn Ross. Very experienced indeed. But this event as well requires grit, determination, and tremendous strength. Magnus Samuelsson is away well. On this side, René Minkwitz is going well too. Samuelsson just leading, and in fact, Glenn Ross at the moment in last place. Not a good start for Britain's strongest man. Johnny Perry Jr., the first time he's appeared in this competition. but Samuelsson is putting daylight between himself and the rest. He's absolutely flying. He's just got to flip that tyre one more time, and that is easy points for the Swede. Now, where is Glen Ross? Some way to go yet, perhaps making a bit of a rush. At the very last attempt, Glen Ross, Regan Vagadal finishes in second place. Ross, I think, has finished in third, but only just ahead of Johnny Perry Jr. So, not a bad effort from Glen Ross. A nervous start, but he came through very, very strongly in the end.
I've been preparing pretty hard before this competition, and I'm really looking forward to it. So we will see what happens, but this is just the start of a very tough week. But saying that, I'm very pleased to win. The first event is always the worst one, with nerves and everything. And I think this heat with Glenn, Torres, Regan, Rennie and all them people, it's going to be a hard heat. So obviously I'm glad for my 6 points.
I was hoping for third place. So now I got second. Of course I'm happy. I've been practicing home for 10 flips in the 75 seconds. I've been doing that in the air every 3 days for the last 3 weeks. And it really come through there. That was just too easy at the end there. And I've got a game plan, how to get top 3, and I've done it.
Too easy for Glen Ross? We'll see. Will he be that happy come the end? And as for Samuelsson, what a phenomenal athlete he is. Next stop, the Bridge of Time. Jagged edge. But this next event could be a real horror story for some of our men, because this is the Stone of Africa. It weighs 400 pounds. They have to take it down to the bridge and back again as far as they can. But for some of them, this could really be a brief encounter. Now, this event has Icelandic origins. It used to be called the Husafell Stone. Torfi is from Iceland. Are you sorry to see the Iceland stone replaced by one of Africa?
I would like to see the original stone here, but it's like the holy stone in Iceland you cannot move in. There's only one person who can go with a stone to different places. It's had to stay in Iceland. I would rather have the Icelandic original stone here.
So are you going to be able to move this one?
Hopefully, yeah.
What's the big secret here?
No secrets. I think no, just pick it up and try to walk as far as you can. There's no secret about it.
Please welcome from Iceland, Torfi Olafsson.
The first man on the Africa Stone, 175 kilos the stone, 185 kilos the athlete. He's also almost 2 meters tall, so well equipped to handle this event. Look at that, he just wrapped his arms around it, picks it up, and away he goes for a nice little stroll in the sun. This looks good. He started off very quickly. Continues the tradition of great Icelandic strongmen. The last, of course, Magnus Ver Magnusson, retired now, but many times the world champion. Just coming towards the end, the first 38 meters completed successfully, and he's on his way back. Looking good and picking up speed. He's got to try and keep it high, though. He's lost his grip. The grip is undone. The stone is down. 54 meters will be measured. That is very good.
It's very hard. It's not so heavy to pick it up. And when you start to walk with it, it's getting harder and harder to breathe. The air is so thin, so it's very difficult.
Even more difficult for René Minkvits, 45.2 meters for him. The American John Perry called it quits at the 43-meter mark. Glen Ross did well, but he fell just short of Olafsson's score. But Regan Vagadal of the Faroe Islands set the standard, 65 meters, just one big man to go. You think Magnus can beat that?
If he won't beat it, it will be very close. But maybe not. Hope not.
Please welcome Magnus Samuelsson from Sweden.
Well, if anybody has the physical equipment to handle this, it's Magnus Samuelsson. 2 meters tall. Well over 20 stones in body weight. But deciding not to take a grip at the front, he's really just used his arms as two massive hooks. Now that will be digging into his arms. It must be agony. But he's still striding away. Samuelsson looking magnificent here. Little pitter-patter strides to keep his balance. You don't want to stride out too much here, otherwise you could go way, way over the top. But he's going. He keeps on going, heading now towards 50 metres, 54, the target of Torfi Olofsson. Unbelievable. He's gone past that, now going towards 65.3 of Vagardal, and he's past that as well. Samuelsson keeps going, winning the first event comfortably. He might do it again here. He's got to the end. Is he going to bother coming round? No, he's not. Ah, such confidence from the Swede. 76 metres. We've never seen that before in World's Strongest Man. And that is 2 events in a row for Samuelsson. The big man is back in business.
That was almost showing off.
You know, if they give me the chance, I'll take it.
Samuelsson in a class of his own, 76 metres. But how much further could he have gone? Vagardal in second place, and there's a Nordic monopoly at the top after 2 events. Samuelsson 12, Vagardal 10, but another of their number, Olofsson, is finding the going tough. Torfi, we always think about strong men being big men, but the shape of strong men is changing these days, isn't it?
Yeah, it gets more fitter and smaller. It's more chasing for fitness, so it's no chance for the fat boys anymore.
I think lion wrestling, that's an event they should have in there, don't you think?
Yeah.
You might win that.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I'm bigger than them. I can wrestle them for a while. But they're quite cute.
They are very cute. Do you think the day will ever come when people of your build are serious contenders to be world's strongest man again?
Yeah, sure. One of these, yeah. Must be.
But will you need to be fit as well as big in the future?
I can tell you next year, I will be foot shorter and like 110 kilos. Then I will win.
This next event might suit the really big men. We're down in the amphitheatre. So now we come to one of the traditional strongman events, the deadlift hold. In this case, picking up a car that's 1,400 kilograms and hanging onto it for as long as you possibly can do. And you may recall at Alton Towers in Britain's Strongest Man that Glen Ross established an all-time record of 2 minutes 32. But this is 200 kilograms heavier than the car you had to lift there. So realistically, what could you hope for here?
Well, I'm hoping for obviously 2 minutes again, you know, and with it being slightly heavier, we're going to go for 2 minutes. Anything over that's a bonus. But with it being heavy, I don't think it's going to be a problem for a lot of the guys lifting. But I'd say some of them have difficulty lifting the car. But I've got all the big guys in my group, like a Torfi, Reagan, Rennie Memphis. They're all great at this event. So if I do win it, I'll definitely be the daddy of this.
And this is one of your banker events, isn't it? When you looked at it in advance, you thought, I've got to take this one.
I've got to take this today, you know. Obviously, second would be okay, but I've definitely got to try and win this.
Gentlemen, please welcome Glen Ross from the UK and Torfi Olofsson from Iceland.
Well, the big man said it. He's got to start making inroads to the leaders now. Samuelsson leading on 12 points. Then it's Reagan Vagardal. Ross, though, is in third place on 7, just 1 point ahead of Torfi Olofsson, who faces him here. Well, we've already seen Minkfitz and Johnny Perry Jr. from the USA. The leader at the moment is Minkfitz on 39 seconds. These weightlifting straps so important to help the grip. And Glen Ross, when he did this event at Britain's Strongest Man, was simply outstanding. Can he repeat that sort of form here?
Lift!
Well, it is a bigger car, so this initial lift could be a problem. Glen Ross was the first up. Face to face. They're going to try and outgun each other here. Olofsson just trying to block out everything. The first target, 39 seconds by Minkfitz, and then you've got to try and hang on for as long as you possibly can to put the pressure on Vagardal and Samuelsson, who are lying in first and second place at the moment. Glen Ross hoping so much that this will be his event, and in his words, that he will be the big daddy. Now coming towards 39 seconds now. Right, now we're in business. In first place, but which one of them is going to give way?
45 seconds.
He's gone. Olofsson has gone. I was about to say, these are the 2 biggest men in the heat. Looking good, but now there's only one left, and it's Glen Ross. And all credit to Olofsson, standing there encouraging the man from County Down. 2 minutes would be outrageous. Anything beyond 1 minute is simply incredible. Ross just struggling a little bit now, but he's gone. That is it. But it's a fabulous target, 74.8 seconds. And Ross, for the time being, is number one. Tremendous performance by Glen Ross, just what he needed. 1,400 kilograms, an unbelievable weight. Just 2 men to go. The target, 74.8 by Glen Ross. Vagadal on the right. Magnus Samuelsson, 2 first places so far. Oh, Samuelsson can't lift it. Unbelievable. Vagadal's score starts straight away. Samuelsson has blown it, surely. I can't believe it. The former world's strongest man 2 years ago. He's not going to do it. Vagadal still steady, but Magnus Samuelsson, well, winning the first 2 events, and this proves that this is probably the hardest competition there's ever been in World's Strongest Man. He can't shift it an inch. He's finished. He'll only end up with a single point. And Vagadal finishes as well, 35.8, and that means Glen Ross will have closed the gap. And what about Magnus Samuelsson? Well, he blew it in a big way.
Maybe if he put his real knee wraps around it and power suit on, but he didn't because he thought that he could do it anyway, so he made a miscalculation there as well. But it's hard for a tall guy. He's 2 meters tall, and you can see the other short guys, they don't have to lift as high as Magnus does, but I think he's angry now. Really, oh, it's bad.
Were you surprised that Magnus couldn't lift it at all?
Well, Magnus is no deadlifter, you know. He's a strong man, strong at everything, really. But with it being so heavy, it definitely separated the men from the boys, I think, at this time. So, but I think Magnus will still win the group.
A great result for Glen Ross, encouraging too for Torfi Olofsson, but only 1 point for Samuelsson, and that means there's now just 2 points between the top 4 at the halfway stage. But what did go wrong with the giant Swede?
Even though I saw the other guys struggling to pick it up, I didn't expect it to be that heavy.
How can you make a mistake like that?
And usually I'm really strong from that position, so I didn't expect it. I never ever failed in my whole life a weight with like wheelbarrow handles on like this. So I think you learn something every day. Saying that, though, of course I would have been happier with some more points. I'm more disappointed about being that stupid than I am about the point situation, because there is still plenty of time to make it up.
Next stop, the beach, for an event called the Boulder Holder. 10 giant rocks weighing 380 kilograms, that's more than 800 pounds, to be picked up and taken as far as possible around the circle. For these big guys, this event's a real killer. They hate it.
Johnny Perry from the United States needs good points, struggling in his very first World's Strongest Man competition. Oh, he's gone! 50 degrees, that is a big shock. René Mingfits, bit of a nervous start to the competition so far, but he did come third in his last event. That's his best result so far. Now this is better, over 100 degrees, 105 in the lead. Torfi Olofsson. Tall and strong, trying to lock that bar into his chest, but his grip's going already. Another shock, 40 degrees only, in last place at the moment and injured. Glen Ross, presumably full of confidence after winning that last event, now chasing the leader, René Mingfits. 105 degrees the target, he's going steadily, he's getting close, he's getting closer. Oh, he's just short. Second place. Regan Vagadal, Mr. Consistency, 2 second places so far and a 4th. And he's sometimes called Raging Vagadal by his friends. And he's set off at a heck of a pace here. Oh, he's way in the lead. What a performance by the man from the Faroe Islands. Struggling a little bit now, slowing down, but that is magnificent. 275 and the lead. Magnus Samuelsson winning the first 2 events, and then, for him, a comparative disaster in the last one. Now, can he get back on track? 3 men in joint first place after the last event. Samuelsson, Ross and Vagadal. Now he's heading towards Vagadal's lead. 275 degrees the target. Samuelsson's getting close. He's inching forward. I don't think he's going to do it, is he? Oh, he's just short in second place. But back on track and back in the big points again.
So the pocket battleship from the Faroe Islands, Regin Vagadal, won the boulder holder with Samuelsson in second place. And if Samuelsson still has some gas in the tank, is it Vagadal or Ross for the other place in the final? And from the beach, we head to the Roman baths. And so does something new for World's Strongest Man, although if you saw the British event at Alton Towers, you'll be very familiar with Fingal's 5 fingers, named after that giant of mythology. Each of these poles weighs between 200 and 300 kilograms, and they have to be pushed up and then pushed over as quickly as you can. And given the state of this group at the moment, we should be in for a really nail-biting finish. No one managed more than 4 fingers at Britain's Strongest Man, but here was John Perry of the USA, the first man into bat, managing all 5 in the quite remarkable time of 52.7. Glenn Ross achieved just 3 at Britain's competition. He knows what he's got to do here.
Well, probably one of the biggest moments of my life now, really. Chance of beating Magnus Samuelsson and Regin Vagadal to get into the final World's Strongest Man.
It certainly is going to be tough for Glenn Ross, and I wonder what he thinks about that performance of Johnny Perry. At the Britain's Strongest Man, he said if anybody ever lifts 5 of these things, he'd eat their shoes. Well, now's his chance. He's in the lead just at the moment, ahead of Torfi Olofsson. And this is a big mixture of just brute strength, but you've got to have stamina as well. And conditions certainly a lot better than they were at Alton Towers. Beautifully sunny here, and look at this, neck and neck. The time for each one to go down is taken, and those blocks of wood that support it as they topple over being smashed to pieces. And this is a good performance by both of them. Fingal's finger number 4 weighs 275 kilos. Ross struggling a bit. Olofsson moves into the lead. Now, can the Icelandic man do 5? Ross has just completed 4, so good points for him again. 2 more men to go, of course. 15 seconds on the time limit is left. Ross is going well. What has he got left? Olofsson, after a little breather, is coming back stronger. So close to doing 5. Another good effort by Glenn Ross, but time has run out for Torfi Olofsson. 75 seconds gone. So that 5th one won't count, despite the fact Jamie Reeves just says push it over. But Olofsson in 2nd place overall.
Disappointed?
Yeah, a little bit. Tough event. We'll see what Regin can do now. Really tough event. I don't know. It was really hard. Really hard.
That's surely one of the understatements of the competition so far, to say it's really hard. It looked agonising. Now then, the last 2, Samuelsson and Vagadal. Tremendous athletes, these guys. Samuelsson absolutely flying. He just flipped that first one over so quickly. Vagadal is a long way behind. Now Samuelsson chasing the lead by Johnny Perry, who did 5 in 52.7. Ross, though, sees Vagadal as the danger man as far as him getting into World's Strongest Man final is concerned. They're so close on points. Before this event, Glenn Ross 3 points behind Vagadal and only 2 events to go. That is quite a lot of points to make up. Samuelsson is on number 5. Now, can he beat the Americans' time? Time is ticking away. Samuelsson is struggling on the far side, as is Vagadal. And that could be good news for Glenn Ross. Samuelsson's going to do it on 5. He finishes in 2nd place behind Johnny Perry of the USA. Good for the American. And Vagadal, well, only 3. That is a very poor result indeed.
Too little too late for Johnny Perry, but impressive nonetheless. But Vagadal's relative failure down at the bottom throws qualification wide open now. Samuelsson's just about there, but it's Vagadal against Ross in a head-to-head for the other place and 1 event left. Fitting then that this most competitive of groups should come down to one of the great strongman events, the Atlas Stones. Getting 2 of these boulders on the wall, standard. 3 expected, 4 outstanding, 5 superhuman.
On the left,
Glen Ross on the right-hand side, and this surely the biggest moment of what has been a relatively short strongman career.
Ross, UK.
Against Regan Vagadal, he's got to beat the man from the Faroe Islands if he's got any hope of going through into the final. Away to stone number 1, 95 kilos. Neither man has ever completed 5 stones on this event before, and this, one of the most famous events in strongman competition. Vagadal slightly ahead of Glen Ross. Britain's strongest man has got to do something here. Oh, that nearly came to grief, but Ross got it up safely. Vagadal is still leading. This is bad news for Glen Ross. He's got to come back strong. That is better. That is much better, but Vagadal has got the 4th one up. Now come on, Glen, it's going to be a superhuman effort now. Vagadal on stone number 5, Glen Ross just starting. And this is unknown territory for both of them, but Glen Ross very, very close. Now come on, Glen, if you get it up, you could make it through to the final. It's his dream to make it into the final. He wants to do it. The crowd are absolutely screaming for him. He's done it. Oh my goodness, Glen Ross has done it. Vagadal has blown it. Ross feels as though he's done it. He's done so much to get this far. His wife is shouting and screaming, congratulations. Oh, I really hope the big man has done it. Magnificent performance from Glen Ross.
After that, Magnus Samuelsson managed all 5 in cruise control. But the crucial factor in this heat became Torfi Olofsson. He managed 4, but in a relatively slow time, which left Ross and Vagadal level on points, and it went on countback in previous events.
Regan Vagadal goes through because he has a first in 2 seconds, and Glen Ross has a first but no seconds.
So Vagadal's through?
So Vagadal goes through on countback. 1 first, 2 seconds to 1 first.
And so barely 2 minutes after believing he'd realised his dream of making the final, Ross was distraught. Can you believe what's happened there?
I said the oldest strength thing was the stones, you know. You get all 5 up, you deserve to go through the final. I'm just gutted. But Regan won, that's just it. But I'm still young in the sport, you know. I'll be back next year.
Amid all the emotion, confirmation that Samuelsson won that event, and Johnny Perry, coming late and maybe a contender for the future, finished 2nd. But it was Samuelsson and Vagadal on that narrow countback who went through to the final.
A bit lighter than last year, but I'm stronger. So I feel pretty fit even after an event like this. I don't really feel so bad.
That's bad news for everybody else.
Should be.
So there's the first 4 finalists for the Metrex Trophy. Samuelsson and Vagadal added to the names of Gerard and Dixon. Magnus, outstanding again, world champion 2 years ago. A lot of people think you're going to regain the title this year. I must just tell you though, I've been out and about in the bush over the past week or so, desperate to see Africa's Big 5. I'm not doing too badly, but I just haven't seen a water buffalo anywhere. I keep looking and I just can't find...